Computer. All right, then I'm gonna do speaker. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Zoom. We are here with members of amazing organization, StandUpCanada.solutions. Let me introduce you some of the members of the movement and let them know about themselves. And then we're gonna discuss the exact agenda for today, which is Costco and mask exemptions and violations of our human rights. So if I can let Shirley speak first, and then we'll go around.
My name's Shirley Gertay. I'm with Stand Up Canada. I'm a business owner and I am doing my best to stay open and encourage no masks and the way it should be. We're trying to stay normal where we are. It's a farm, so it's a riding school, so it's a little easier to do that out in the country than a city store, but still the whole horse community has been very, very stringent with all the measures, all the COVID measures. So I'm standing out alone in my community with this, but I'm standing.
All right, thank you so much. Next, we'll go to Paula.
I'm Paula Tucci, Stand Up Canada with Shirley, and Shirley's not alone standing. That's why we're all together. I'm retired. My husband's not. He's self-employed, and this has impacted us greatly. And the work that we're doing on Stand Up Canada is to let Canadians know, first and foremost, that they have rights and that the COVID measures are violating those rights and how they can protect them legally. And so we're here to help support HugsOverMasks right now. Just very happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Jane. If you introduce yourself, please.
Yes, my name is Jane Scarf, and I'm a licensed paralegal. I have my own firm. I'm currently working with Stand Up Canada to try and provide legal solutions around the COVID-19 regulations. And I'm interested in discussing some legal response to the issues that you're having with Costco.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being here. And then Carly, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Carly Benjamin, and I'm helping out as well with Stand Up Canada. I am a first-year paralegal student at Durham College, and I literally decided to go back to school for law to learn the law because of everything that's happened throughout this year.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everybody being on board. The thing that some people actually don't know about me personally is, besides being a health and wellness coach for the last 20 years and being a personal trainer and all that stuff, and even working in this restaurants and bars as a bartender and server in Toronto for the last 10 years, I actually come from the family of lawyers. My mom was actually a district judge for 11 years and a lawyer before and after that, and still lives in Moscow and practices, a little bit. And then my brother I have a younger brother, and he's actually a lawyer in Moscow as well. And I actually did 2 years out of the 4-year program in the same law academy that he graduated from. So I have a little bit of understanding of definitely legal framework and language, and comes in handy, especially this year. So without further ado, I would love to discuss a little bit with everyone. Let me just do this way, kind of makes it better to see everyone at the same time. So today we had a call to action. I made a call to action on Dundas Square on Saturday in anticipation of Costco announcement that they actually did all last week, letting everyone know that from Monday, November 16th, they no longer will be allowing people in their stores without masks or any type of face covering. And as a solution for people that cannot wear the mask for whatever reasons, they will be enforcing shields. So still some type of face covering will be mandatory. Otherwise, people won't be able to go in. Understanding that we cannot stand for that. There's exemptions, real exemptions, and it's a blatant violations of human rights. I made a call to action on Saturday and be promoting during the weekend for people to go locally to the closest Costco and just go in, say I'm exempt, and do the shopping. And we had people going all across Ontario and other provinces today. And unfortunately, only a couple people were able to go in and shop and actually complete the purchases. Otherwise, people maybe were able to get in, but then would not be checked out, refused service. And a lot of times actually police was showing up or already being in front of the store and either escorting people off a premise or not even allowing people to go in. And for us, even that alone is completely unimaginable to think that the police is there to enforce unjust laws or even store policies and basically being on the payroll of the corporation instead of protecting the rights of the citizens of Canada, for which they actually took an oath. So maybe I would love to hear from all of you, some of your input, feedback, and then we can talk about real solutions and strategy, because we're not going to stop. We're actually going to continue tomorrow and going forward.
Vlad, what's the, yeah, and you'll just tell us how you want to ask the question. What was the location again that you said?
So we had several locations that, so in Toronto specifically, the one on Wilson and Dufferin, so like Yorkdale location, the people were escorted from the property. The one in Woodbridge, same thing, Highway 7 400 happened too. In Oshawa as well.
Oshawa?
Yeah, Oshawa happened too. Jessica from our moment, she has a video recording. A lot of people actually took videos of what took place. I know people went to Etobicoke. I didn't get a feedback what happened there. The only one that I know that was able to get it in and out and actually do the purchases was in Richmond Hill. And again, maybe it was just luck. So one member was able to do what he wanted. But people in London, in Kitchener, all had issues. So at least I have a report around Ontario with all those things happening there.
Because I'm wondering, my first thought is this a corporate policy that they have for Costco Ontario?
Yeah.
Or is it an individual store policy?
My understanding it is, and actually, yes, thank you for reminding me. In Hamilton, people called to the Hamilton location, and Hamilton location specifically, I have a video of the conversation, of the phone conversation, is whoever was representing Hamilton location said, currently, as of today, we still do allow people to come in, but it can change anytime. So they kind of relate to the municipal Hamilton mandate, whatever, bylaw, that did allow for now. But the lady said several times, things can change any minute.
So it's not necessarily a corporate one then? It's
the point for my call to action is because I saw several posts all last week, specifically about Costco having this. And some of the videos that was done today, you could see the signage posted in front entrance saying that as of today, the policy is face coverings are mandatory, no exceptions.
Okay.
I called the Oshawa store today and I spoke to the store manager, and I recorded that call as well, and we had a lengthy conversation about it. And then I called back later to clarify a few things, and the woman I spoke to explained to me that this was a letter specifically from the CEO of Costco to all Costco's across Canada, that this is their new policy. That's what she told me, the girl on the phone.
I believe that for sure. Yeah.
Well, you know what? We can request a copy of that store policy, that letter. Good. We'll just figure out who's going to do it between all of us. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, so we have many members. So for example, Jessica, who went to the Oshawa, she has basically said that I want to cancel because, I'm not going to stand for this. And I think she's just waiting for the refund before she actually cancels her membership, because her membership is linked to her actual credit card. So she wants to make sure she gets money on that before that happens. But otherwise, even as far as Vancouver, we have members in Vancouver going and saying that they will be canceling the memberships because they're not going to be, obeying and acquiescing to this unjust laws. So,
Carly, do you want to follow back up and get a copy of that senior?
Yeah, I'm supposed to speak to the store manager again tomorrow, because when I called back this afternoon, he'd left. And so she took my name and number and said she'd have him call me. I was specifically questioning the accommodations that they were going to offer. When I first spoke to him, he said that they were not accommodating in any way for anybody who wasn't able to shop in their store due to this rule. And when I pushed him, he finally was like, oh, well, you can order through Instacart online. And so I actually went to do that because I do shop at Costco. And not only like I have a membership for Instacart where there's a fee and whatnot, but the individual items were actually much more expensive than what they call in store.
Wow.
Butter, for example, was $1 more, which is significant for butter. So I called back to say, wait, this isn't right, because now I'm being penalized because of my disability. And he wasn't there to speak with. So when I speak to him tomorrow, which I intend on doing, I can try and find out where this letter or email or whatever.
Yes, no, that would be great.
Well, most likely, yeah, because then we'll know how to respond to it.
Right.
Right.
So I'll tell you what I envision happening, and I definitely would love to hear your feedback and opinion. So what I envision is tomorrow to continue call to action and actually still ask people to go and exercise their right to shop in a store to which they actually have a membership to, right? And see how tomorrow's gonna go. And so today was called for everyone go around 12 o'clock at the same time locally. Tomorrow, I think we're gonna offer 2 time slots, because obviously we wanna have a group of people going, not just the individual, because then harassment is at the next level when you're by yourself. We all know that. So tomorrow I'm gonna encourage everyone to go at 12 and at 7. So either both time or individual, and continue doing that. I was speaking with Paula earlier today, and then saying, what would be, again, the best way for us to explain to the management the rights that the store is infringing, and when the police shows up, what would be the best response to the police to make sure that they actually go with their oath to protect and serve the citizens and not the interest of corporation.
Well, I'll start off because it happened to me, and I didn't take my own advice because I didn't think it would happen to me. So you have to be armed. We're going to arm them with information that they can read, because I was trying to rattle stuff off from memory. And when you're being assaulted, like, I couldn't remember anything, and I was shaking and I could barely even write stuff down. So we'll provide something, right? I think, Jane, in writing what their rights are. And, the same thing for the police, how the police are supposed to uphold their rights under their Police Services Act. I mentioned that to you on the phone, Vlad, under their act and under their oath.
So in terms of the mandate, again, we have this exemption flyers, right, which is on our website under resources, HugsOverMasks.ca. And this is generic, pretty much can be used across Canada. It says, I'm exempt from local regulations mandating face mask usage, wherein a face mask is detrimental to my health. And then it continues, provincial and municipal legislation do not require employees or members of the public to provide the proof of any exemption. Some exemptions include, but not limited to, mental health and wellness, physical health and wellness, and then human rights code, which include religion, creed, and disability, etc. And then it says violation of the bylaw can be reported to your local bylaw office. Violation of disability rights under the Canadian of Human Rights, Canada Charter of Rights and Freedoms can be reported to your provincial human rights tribunal. So this, by the way, everyone who's going to be watching recording can be downloaded from our website on your phone. We've been distributing thousands and thousands of this all across Canada, actually about 130,000 in Ontario, same 130,000 in BC, and then about 30,000 in Quebec and French too.
Okay.
Jane, you're muted.
Yeah, okay. The wording of that would constitute a creed. And I guess what I would do is transpose that onto your Facebook, and if you have a website, and call it creed.
Mm-hmm.
Actually use it, but it's the same thing, and it didn't just start now. I've seen those around for quite a while.
Yes.
And that way any of the members that are in there can firmly assert that this is their creed. In fact, their creed.
And exercise their rights under Canadian.
Yes, yeah. And the Human Rights Tribunal issued some opinion on some of this. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it said there's an exemption for medical, and the store or the employer are not supposed to ask for the information. And they said, and there's other exemptions. They don't say which ones, but if you look at the list, there's only 2 possibilities, and that I can see, and that would be religion or creed. So, and they didn't say one other, they said others, and there's others exemptions. Yes. So it would appear to me as though they will accept creed and being part of a group, like joining a group, even the Facebook is a way of establishing firmly that you have that creed, and then that can be, because otherwise, if you're just saying it's personal, they might just say, yeah, right. You know, like you can't prove. How do you prove it? But if you're part of a group and the group has, articulated that, then you're good to go. And there's other things that you can use to support the refusal, and that would be, which you, I'm sure, know very well, the research material that shows, first of all, that it's not useful in terms of stopping virus, and secondly, that it's actually harmful because you're ingesting carbon dioxide, virus, and or re-ingesting virus and bacteria. And that's pretty much what the defense would be, I would think.
And again, no surprise, the second side of that card actually has the first one and the second that you mentioned, and it has a citation to the actual medical clinical studies to back that up.
Perfect. So I would put the whole thing front and back as
Perfect.
and call it your creed.
Yes.
Just transpose word for word.
Beautiful.
And it's already, I mean, nobody could even question, because you've been using it, promoting it, and other, your members are passing it out and using it themselves and things like that. So there's nobody's going to be able to question that.
Awesome.
That's a creed. Yeah, and just for encouragement, Canadian Tire originally was accepting exemption, and all of a sudden they did the same thing as Costco did. They all of a sudden, everybody turning around, Cornwall, Toronto, Ottawa, and they were stopping everybody. And then I called because Paula had a problem with them at mine around the corner from me, and another friend of mine, and I called them to see what they had to say about it. I talked to the management, and they said, that's right, we do have that policy in place, and that's to protect our staff and our other clients. And I said, well, if the mask works, or if you believe that the mask works, why would you want to compromise somebody's health who can't wear a mask? And his answer was, slam the phone on my face. Because there is no answer.
There is no answer, yeah.
Yeah. And that can be, yeah.
It's also helpful to have a copy on your phone of the exact bylaw, the exact wording of wherever people happen to be, the bylaw of where they are. Because funnily enough, well, actually it's not funny, but some of the police aren't even aware.
No, they're not.
So when you can read to them the exact words of the bylaw, it does make a difference.
Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah.
That's what we need to do. We need to establish, is it a provincial? Are these the latest provincial regulations? Is this where this is coming from, or is it a municipal bylaw?
Yeah. Well, we know for Costco is a store policy, as we know from the letter from CEO, right? But we want to know what protections we have, especially in Ontario. Most of the people went in Ontario all around.
I have a link to that, Paula. It's a provincial mandate.
Okay, perfect.
Which I'm assuming that trumps all the other municipal and health orders and everything else. A part of this new zoning or whatever, the red zone, orange zone, it says that businesses must make their patrons wear masks or whatever. And it explains it all. I have a link to it. I can send to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, does it have creed in it?
Yes,
Does
it does.
have creed? It does. Wonderful. Well, then you're going to be a shoe-in. A shoe-in, because they've also put that in their statement questions and answers. And like, there's no question that you have the creed. And the creed is all, like, it's not silly thoughts, it's all well thought out and well documented for you to have those beliefs. And that can be, I think, written in the template.
Because hugs actually represents humanity. It represents immune system. We know when you hug, it actually boosts your health and immune system. And then mask obviously is what we opposing in terms of health risks and psychological damage too. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So those you can put in your defense. Both. You can say this is what we believe, and that's the creed, and this is why we believe it. It's not just a flat, belief.
It has a foundation, and this is a bit the backing for it.
Yeah,
no, that's
I would put both in, and yet we only have to do it once, like create, and then everybody's just cut and paste after that. They change their name and the location, and that's it. Yeah,
perfect.
And
so two, one for creed, one for medical. Creed is actually easier. Because
it is, for sure. It's the belief system.
Carly found out that with the human rights, they will require you to demonstrate the disability.
Yes.
Now, but mind you, there's a glitch there because the College of Physicians has indicated to doctors not to write up exemptions.
Yeah, we actually shared a letter almost a month and a half ago now from Ontario College of Physicians, where they state exactly that even people with asthma or real anxiety,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
literally tell them to stay home or take medication, but still wear the mask.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So if you want some backing, we have to go after the Ontario College of Physicians. Like, we actually have internal letter that they send to their own physicians. Yeah.
Oh my!
It's
I didn't know
insanity.
they said that. I thought they just said to
Oh,
not
no.
issue them because it was going to overwhelm the
No,
system if everybody was going to the doctor to get that.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! What a bunch of pigs.
Yeah, nothing surprises us
Anyway,
now.
so Creed work, and
Yeah.
actually, I was thinking today, like Carly mentioned, should you use Creed or should you use medical? And there's no reason why you can't use both.
Yeah, for sure. But I agree with you. That's why as soon as Creed went into the effect, and we're promoting that since last month, I stopped saying medical exempt. I just say I'm exempt, and that's
exempt.
it. And that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, good.
Because we
Okay.
understood that until the Creed was part of the exemption, even for people to say that you're medically exempt is already a violation of privacy.
Yes, it is.
Why do I need
Yes,
to
it
say
is.
I'm medically exempt? Like, you don't need
Yeah.
to know my medical history, right?
Yeah,
And
you don't even know. You have to know. Even when you say medical, it's indicating that you have some kind of medical condition. You're
Yeah.
not perfectly healthy or whatever.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
already a violation of privacy. So even
Yeah,
that alone
exactly.
is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But now that we have Creed, at least in Ontario, which is
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
we definitely have to all exercise that. Yes.
Okay, well,
I can
let's try and
read,
get something.
I can read quickly this. I'm not
Please.
sure this is the very, very most recent because I think they may have switched. This was under phase 3. And now I don't know if this zoning is still a part of that because they've changed now to the red zone, orange zone, yellow zone, whatever.
I
But
just
when
tell
it's
people say you colorblind, so you don't know
Right.
the zones, right?
Right. But under phase 3, with regards to masks, what it actually says is that you don't need to wear a mask if you have a medical, where'd it go? If you have a medical condition that inhibits the ability to wear a mask or face covering, are unable to put it on and remove it yourself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it says, is being accommodated in accordance with the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, or is being reasonably accommodated in accordance with the Human Rights Code. So it doesn't specifically go into the details in this one, but I think if it's saying the Human Rights Code in accordance, I mean, the Human Rights Code encompasses Creed, all those things, right, Jane?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So yeah.
And religion, because I
Right.
understand there are some religions that say that you can't cover your face. There's something unholy or whatever about
Yeah,
covering
no,
your
for
face.
sure.
Hey,
For
Vlad,
sure.
can you share the screen so I can show then your viewers the Human Rights Code and what we're talking about?
Yeah, I'll make you co-host.
Do that?
Yeah, for sure. I'll make you
Okay.
co-host.
'Cause that will be helpful for people
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, please.
Oh, do I just do this at my end, I guess?
Sure. If you have it up, or I don't have it open.
Okay. Do you
So-
have?
So once these templates are made, are you going to be able to have a team of people that will field them?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
No, we do have people wanting to make a difference and take action every day. So definitely
Yeah,
any
okay.
framework will be helpful.
Okay. There, I'm going to share my screen. Can you see this?
Yeah, we do. Thank you.
Okay. So the website is above. This is it here. You can't, okay. I can't scroll up that high. It's covered.
It's okay. It says OHRC, which is Ontario Human Rights Code, right?
Sorry, Ontario Human Rights Commission, sorry.
Commission, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
.ca.
Mhm.
And then the prohibited grounds of discrimination.
Mhm.
I'll scroll down.
Oh, this is for housing. That's for housing. See, rental housing.
Okay, sorry. Whoops, wrong one. Let me go back.
No problem.
Housing again. Sorry, I had the wrong one up.
The other one up.
You should put section 1.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Every person has a right to equal treatment with respect to services, goods, facilities without discrimination because of race, ancestry, place of origin, color, ethnic origin, citizenship, creed, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, age, marital status, family, or disability.
So this is very important, because even if they offer curbside pickup, online shopping, it's already discrimination. I want to come into the store and I want to shop there like anyone else.
But the human rights said that they can do that. They put that in their question answer. Not that I'm agreeing with it, but
Sure.
it's an obstacle.
They said that
But-
they can.
Very good. As an aside here, the word creed, a lot of people think it just means religion, but creed actually means a set of beliefs. It
Yeah,
could be
belief
anything.
system.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then if we go to, ta-da, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Section 2B, freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom on, well, with that, here we are here really, belief and opinion and expression.
Mhm.
But that's their constitutional right to say, I think the mask is dangerous. I believe it's harmful, and it's my opinion that I don't want to wear it. You know, it's right there. So it's
There's
section
no
2.
accommodation here. This isn't for accommodations.
No, but this is just to support.
If you look at section 15, you'll see accommodation.
Yeah, yes. So yeah, this is your creed essentially here.
Mhm.
Section 2. We're going to scroll down to 15, which is.
No, I don't think it is a creed.
You don't think this is creed here?
No,
Belief?
no, because it's not. That's not for discrimination there.
But you don't think people can just say, I'm
You could
exercising?
say it, but it won't have anything to do with getting accommodation from
Oh,
a
yes.
store.
No, exactly.
But if you look down in
Yeah.
section 15, there's a list there, and if it's something on that list,
Yeah, it's called equality rights right here.
yeah, if there's something on there.
I'll move all this over here.
I think it is important though to differentiate between the charter and the human rights code, because all these rights on the charter are between people, and Jane, correct me if I'm wrong here, but people, individuals, and the government. Private businesses don't have to follow the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They do have to follow the Human Rights Code, which
That's
requires them to make accommodations.
correct.
And the Human Rights Code is, I would say, it's sort of inspired by the Charter, but the Charter specifically, you can't go into a store, you can't go to any private business and say, this is my constitutional rights, you have to allow me to do these. It's not the way it works. If it was a government building or government service,
Mhm.
What about
the charter would come into play.
what about the businesses having a business license and they have to serve the public?
It would fall under the code, the Human Rights Code, not the charter.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So this, if we wanted to use the charter, we could use it against the Ontario government if we're finding that their provisions, like closing the schools down, closing the businesses down, those are all violations of the charter.
The charter would be
Section
a really
7
good, it would be really well utilized if businesses, because the businesses are actually being mandated by the government. People are not being mandated by the government for majority of these things.
Mhm.
So if businesses wanted to use the charter, that would be a different potential, I think, because the government is actually ordering business owners to do these restrictions and mandates.
Yeah.
So in which
And
case,
for the children, they can use section 15, and for the businesses, they can use section 7, which is life, liberty, and security of person. And section 2, the way that works, that's your right to protest right there.
Mhm.
That's not an accommodation. It's your right to protest.
Mhm.
So this is what you use to defend yourself against any ticket when you're protesting. And actually, technically, what you did at Costco is a protest, because you went with a group and you told them what you were doing, why you were doing. So it's a protest. So that is any kind of ticket that you might get, section 2, you had a right to do that because you have a right to
so you'd be
protest.
protected from the government, like the ticket or like the officer, that kind of thing. But you wouldn't be protected by the store owner's conduct.
Yeah.
That way you'd have to use the code, the human rights code.
Yeah, yeah. And section 7, also the business can use life, liberty, and security of person because it's you know, destructive of your livelihood, your income. And section 15 is equality rights. So under there, you have accommodation for disability is under 15. And also everything to do with the children is under 15. So closing the schools, you know, that's an adverse effect on the children. The mask, the social distancing, all of that is discrimination towards or they can use section 15 as because to be protected for provisions against them.
Okay.
So we'll do a template up, Jane. Is that what you were saying? We'll do that up for
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah, a template for, I guess. Now, how do you want to do that? Do you want to do, well, I guess they can just fill that in, but it'll be a different content based on whether it's medical or creed, or you can do.
Well, I think we're gonna go with creed just to make things.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, or maybe you might want to go for all creed.
Yeah, we're just gonna go for creed. I think it makes sense,
it's
especially
simpler,
again, the movement really represents it, and then people joining for the movement because we have a belief system.
Yes,
of,
exactly,
you know,
and a valid and supported system. Yeah, I like that. I'm happy.
Okay, good.
With that.
Yeah, I think the tribunal, that's a good idea because the tribunal, there is a potential if you're using medical or disability that they're gonna ask for further proof, whatever. So creed is definitely, I think, a really good idea.
You just made me remind me of something. In small claims court, you can join matters that have the same cause of action. Because this is all one store, you could ask the Human Rights Tribunal if they would be willing to join and hear all at one time. And I don't know if there's, I've never heard of it being done, but I think they would have enough authority to allow that. And it would be in the interest of everybody to do that. It would be in your interest instead of going back over and over and over again. And it would save them setting up the whole process over and over and over again. And you could have one spokesperson proceeding to, you know, each stage, like you have a negotiation stage and then a pre-trial stage and then the trial stage. So that would save an enormous amount of resources if they do that. So once everything is all ready to go, and actually that's what I would do too. I would wait until you hit a sort of a mass number, like predetermined number, I don't know, 20, 50, 100, and file them all at the same time. Okay. And as you file them, send a letter asking, like, we've just filed these. They're all the same cause of action. We'd like permission to hear them together.
Okay. No, I like that a lot. Yeah.
Okay. No, no guarantees that they will allow it.
No, for sure.
Small claims court allows it for that reason. It's for the expediency of it. And it's really cool if you use creed for everybody too, then it's like cut and dry. Yeah,
I think so. Hi, Shirley, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Shirley.
I'm sure some people must have used the right argument today. So how was that handled? They were just kicked out and.
Yeah, so basically the managers obviously were expecting, so they like literally like a broken record kept saying like, you're trespassing, please leave. You're trespassing, please leave. We're calling the cops because you're trespassing. So that's what they're trying to.
So tomorrow, what are you going to do different?
So, well, part of it, having the conversation today with you is to figure out the best verbiage to use, because again, the point is not to stop, the point is to continue. If nothing else, just to make an example that we're not going to stop, we're going to continue making, and because a lot of people want to boycott, and I've been saying this from day one, boycotting is not necessarily the best venue, because if we're going to start boycotting, we're not going to have any place to go to buy the food, right? If you want to create a real change, we have to stand the ground and not allow the policies to happen. Because at the end of the day, the businesses actually are the one that has the power to overturn this whole mess. Because businesses actually will allow the public continue living their life and shop at whatever way they want. If somebody wants to wear the mask, let them. If somebody don't. And I've been saying this from the beginning of all this, that in 2003, when we had SARS outbreak around the world, and specifically in Toronto, where I was living already at that time, in February, in the middle of a SARS outbreak, City of Toronto actually created an incentive program for people to go and support the restaurants. It's called Winterlicious. And the program was so successful, they kept it going for the last 16 years. The only time it didn't happen is this year, like everything else got canceled, including Olympics, right? But the point is, same pandemic happened in 2003. And back then, the city of Toronto actually wanted to support the restaurants because people were scared back then, like they are today. And they were staying home. They were not going to restaurants. So the city of Toronto created Winterlicious program. People were going, they were getting a set menu in the restaurants and eating it. And people want to wear the mask, don't wear the mask. Nobody was forcing anybody. And the program became so successful, they extended into the summer. So we have Summerlicious in Toronto, and it's been going on every single year until again this year.
I had no idea that was the history. I've done Winterlicious and Summerlicious many times, and I didn't know
The
that.
first time was during SARS outbreak in 2003. And that's why I say all these consultants hired by the city of Toronto to help open up the businesses, who, by the way, get paid $50,000 a month to consult how to open the businesses safe. I just say, open your business. Let people do what they can as adults.
I wonder if, Canadian Tire, now Costco, I wonder if they're getting any kind of incentive to do this.
My guess would be is the CEOs obviously are the one creating the policies, right? It always starts from the top, right? So whatever they get the influence.
What I saw in Canadian Tire though is they went from March until when did that happen to you, Paula? What month was that?
Yes.
With Canadian Tire?
October 6th.
October.
Yeah.
So they went from March till October.
Mhm.
Without any issue. They would just say fine, like
Well,
for an
when they started color coding the cities, because when I walked in, they said, "Oh, we're in a red zone, like you're going to endanger everybody." And
Oh, okay.
get out. And so I'm just listening to all this, and I realize if this is a provincial order, like just to make it very clear to everybody that's listening, like your viewers when they watch, business stores can make any policy they want, but that policy cannot be against a bylaw. So they can't, so then it's illegal now, because if they're not honoring the mask exemption in the bylaw or the provincial order, so now it's illegal, and they can't discriminate against the Human Rights Code. So if you guys show up, or anybody shows up without a mask, and you are trying to get them to honor the mask exemption already in the provincial order, and they threaten to call the police on you, you say, good, because I'm calling the police on you because your store policy is illegal. And stand your ground, but you want to be prepared. You want to have the provincial order in front of you. Like everybody has to be armed with their information. Have it there. And the store policy owner, their new policy cannot be less than that. It can't not honor it. It becomes illegal then. And then you're going to ask that police officer, if it's the police that's coming because it's a provincial order, to fine them or arrest them, do something.
Yeah, I think that's it's good to have the information, because I remember at the beginning, lots of establishments didn't even know about exemption, because you'd say exemption, they go, and some of them just go, well, okay. And they didn't fight, but others like, no, everybody has to wear one, because they didn't know, they didn't understand, they didn't see the bylaw themselves, or didn't read it, or whatever they did.
So on that note,
that went away because eventually every store.
That went away partially because we've been very loud about the exemptions, because the government and the media specifically didn't mention exemptions because they want to play on ignorance of people. So from the beginning, our movement was all about empowering people with information and education, and that's why
that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying, that's an important factor, because if they were never challenged, most of the places would require everybody to wear a mask if they had never been challenged.
For sure. So in terms of go ahead, Shirley. Okay.
Question for Jane. Tomorrow when somebody's there and let's say the police is called and they're threatened to be charged with trespassing, how should the person respond?
Well, the trespassing ticket would be used as evidence of discrimination, because it's clear that you're.
So we actually want to get a ticket then. Okay.
I would say.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go to Costco tomorrow myself. The people have a membership, but I want to be there. So whoever wants to go to Yorkdale one, I'm gonna go to Yorkdale tomorrow, 12 o'clock, Wilson and Dufferin.
And then you have an issue with the police too, because they're not supposed, like the as Carly was saying, that store owner is responsible to uphold the human rights code. So what they're doing is using police to override the human rights code. So that's not
Not
like,
cool.
the police are and the police are committed in their own legislation to respect both the charter and the human rights code.
And that's why we want to
they're
make
being
sure that we
used-
can educate them
Yeah.
tomorrow. So
Yeah,
I would
they're
love
being
to
used
have
as
something.
as muscle
Exactly.
to deny these rights. So
Yeah.
that you have a police issue there that's actually good too, you know what I mean, to get that dialogue
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And you can start writing to the police stations and stuff.
That's great.
And-
Yeah. No,
and you have
we
perfect,
need to educate them more than anything, because
Yeah,
we
and
do
yeah,
know
you
a lot
have
of them on our side, but a lot
Yeah.
still need to be woken up. So that's great.
Yeah. And you have a good defense for the ticket also, because the mask requirement is not constitutional, like it's in violation of your rights.
Exactly.
And then using the criminal justice system to help a store discriminate is just completely off the
Yeah.
framework, the legal
Okay,
framework.
good.
I'll share my screen one more time with
Please.
the Police Services Act, okay?
Yes.
Exactly what they were saying. So if you can see it over here, that's again, the declaration. Oopsie, I'll go to the top here so everybody can see. Police Services Act, this is Ontario,
Mhm.
under the Declaration of Principles, right here. The importance of safeguarding fundamental freedoms guaranteed by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Human Rights Code. Exactly what Jane said. If the store owners are asking the police to, help get patrons out, they're now actually violating the Human Rights Code. And they're sworn to uphold that.
Exactly.
You know, in Toronto, we had a problem with the Hilton Hotel.
Oh, yes,
for
yes,
masks.
yes.
Yeah. So when the police came, there was two. There was a man and a woman. And the man was doing a lot of the talking, whatever. And then eventually I said, well, you're going to use force and take us out of here? And he goes, I'm not taking anybody out of here. I'm not using force on you guys because I'm just here to keep the peace. So as soon as the woman officer heard him say that, she backed away and turned around, got on her phone and called another one to come and back her up. So he came in charging in, and the two of them did it. And the other one just, I'm not doing it. So you could see that he was respecting the way the law was supposed to be, because I said, because if you do that, that's you're allowing them to use the police to discriminate against us.
Yeah.
And he was good, and he stood right back. He wouldn't touch anybody, and the other two did all the removal, like the
dirty work. We did the dirty work.
Yeah, the dirty work. Yeah, for sure.
I have an
Yeah, so there's
story.
definitely also the Ottawa police. That's why. Did you have anybody going to Costco in Ottawa?
I didn't have a feedback, but yeah, people were going to Canada, and they're going to go tomorrow to Canada as well. By the way, guys, if you want to join them tomorrow, I know for sure we have people confirmed for 7 p.m. I'm not sure about 12, but yeah.
Yeah, well, what I'm thinking is a few times I've seen that Ottawa police are not keen on enforcing any of this. You know, when Ford made his regulation that you can't have more than 25 people, well, I called them on, like I sent them a letter saying, come and get me and whatever. And then I got to the Parliament Hill, and there was a bunch of cops there. So I went and asked them, I said, are you guys going to be enforcing this regulation? And they said, no, it has nothing to do with police. And I said, can you confirm that? Like call your supervisor. So they did, and they came back and they said the supervisor said the police aren't having anything to do with that. That's a bylaw. So that's up to the bylaw, and it has to have a complaint. There has to be a complaint from the public in order for that to be enforced. So they never touched anybody. There was over 100. It wasn't a big crowd that day, but it was well over 100. Actually, I think it was 25 because we were in red zone. So I think it was 25 at that time, and there was probably about 1,000 people. So I think plus I had an incident in Farm Boy. Not with Farm Boy, but I was walking with another girl. We're picking up vegetables, and a bylaw officer comes up. Where's your mask, ladies? And I said, I'm exempt. And she goes, let me see your proof. And I said, I don't have to show you anything. And she said, well, she's going to write me up, so give me your ID. And I said, no, you're not seeing my ID. I didn't do anything wrong. See, bylaw doesn't have any right to do anything if you say no. So she said, well, okay, I'll take your particulars. And I said, no, I'm not telling you what my name is. I didn't do anything wrong. So she goes and tells the manager, the assistant manager, to come and tell us to get out of the store. So he comes kind of sheepishly over and says, oh, you have to leave. And I said, and it's on tape. I said, did she tell you to tell us to leave? And he said, yes. So I said, well, I'm not leaving. You have to get the police. So the two of them left and they went upstairs to their office and never came back.
Yeah.
And I was waiting. Finally, about a half an hour later, I just brought all my stuff through the cash and paid for it and left.
Exactly.
And the next day I called the store and I talked to the manager and he said he was really distressed about it. And he, as far as he knew, that she was out of line because there was no complaint. And also she's out of line to be ordering the system manager to do that. And I guess he was intimidated by her or whatever. But then I called the supervisor, the bylaw supervisor, and I was surprised. He called me right back, 10 minutes, and he told me they are allowed to go in if there's been a complaint. Okay, so they don't have to go in immediately, like it could be days later. You know what I mean? Like they're under suspicion or whatever if there's a complaint. So they could get a complaint on Monday and go in on Wednesday. But in this case, there was no complaint. She was shopping in the store and saw us with no mask and decided to go for it. And then he told her, he followed up and then called me back and told me he gave her shit or whatever, because she wasn't supposed to be coming on to us at all because there was no complaint, and she shouldn't have been telling him to tell us to leave. And she shouldn't, even if there was a complaint, she wasn't permitted to ask us for proof. So it was pretty good. So they've been really good. Farm Boys they should be on the wait list because I go there a couple times a week and they're really good.
Well, I mean, as we see a lot of places that were very lenient or very good before, they tied up the screws now. So, we can have a whole other long conversation why that's going on. Quickly, I wanted to mention, even personally myself, and I have proof of both. One is I have an actual video of altercation with a manager of Shoppers Drug Mart back in September, or was it August actually even, where they kicked me out, the police came or whatnot. I was going to use the postal service, which I think is a whole other level when you denied access to federal services, right?
Yes.
So I would love to look into that. And then the other one is the small gym chains here in Toronto called Home Fitness. I have a phone conversation with a manager who's canceling my membership because I refuse to wear the mask. And I literally tell him I have a medical exemption. And he's like, okay, just going to cancel your membership.
Jesus Christ. Eh?
Yeah. And that happened also in September. So
yeah. Well, I'm hoping that some of the police forces at least are reluctant. There's only been one ticket that I know of for organizing. That was in Hamilton.
Hamilton, yes. There's someone got a ticket in Winnipeg, and there was also someone got a ticket in Saskatoon.
Okay. For Ontario, there's one.
Yeah, for Ontario, there's one so far. Yes.
Yeah, which is pretty cool because every weekend there's thousands.
Yeah, no,
Aylmer was awesome. Did you get up to Aylmer?
No, I was in Toronto, but I was in Woodstock yesterday. So they were threatened as well. And then obviously we're in Toronto every single Saturday too for the last 7 months, right?
Well, it was thousands of people in Aylmer, and it's just a little sleepy little town. Eh?
No, but I was laughing because, the mayor or whatever, they just give themselves the service, because once you tell us don't come, we're actually going to come in droves.
Yeah, I know. There was 3 car things.
Lines, yeah.
It was really, really good. I really liked that whole
yes. So okay, great. So we're going to go tomorrow, continue doing this call to action, people exercising their rights to buy the food, especially once they pay in membership to access to the store. They should have equal opportunities to shop inside. Again, we've been doing this all to the now. So why all of a sudden now we cannot do it again? Just think about common sense, right? In the peak of the pandemic, when people actually had deaths, where we don't really even have deaths now, but and when police does show up, we need to remind the police that they actually have an oath to protect and uphold the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Human Rights Code, and that supersedes anything in the land. Yeah,
and their oath, is very clear that they're supposed to be there to protect and blah blah blah.
Okay, good.
One thing I'd like to add. And Jane, I guess sort of back me up or, check me on this, depending on if this is accurate or not. I think, my opinion, the best strategy, especially with Costco, is to really like push for accommodations, because they're not going to do it, I don't think. But I think it's really important that, they should be offering accommodations. They're not, to ask for them. And then if they say something like order online or order on Instacart, say, no, I want accommodations that are going to be exactly equitable and equal to the service that would be offered if I was to go into the store and shop myself, the same selection, same prices. If I give you a list, will you go in and shop for me? Like, really throw them some bones and see if they'll, accommodate in any way. That's what I'm going to do next, because if they're not willing to do any of that, that's just like next level.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, it's good to have a few different strategies and see if we have any movement in any type of a direction.
Right.
But at the end of the day, so maybe we can just go around and then Jane maybe comment on Carly, and then I want to hear from all of you. And I'll have some
the
of my
human rights did say that they're allowed to do curbside delivery, but what she described there wouldn't qualify because you're paying more for it. And
well,
then
you're paying more, you might not even have the same selection. You might not even have the same selection, or you want to select yourself, right? You want to see the goods and pick and choose. It's never going to be the same experience unless you actually go in the stores.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like
you want to see what fruit and vegetables you're getting.
Like if anything else, there should be different hours, I guess, for maskless people. But then again, now we're really going into the segregation, and that's why we say our movement. It's all about. This is the civil rights movement of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to allow segregation.
But we did still have to work with what the tribunal said.
Sure.
Because it's going to be a stumbling block, and they have said that they can provide like alternative stuff. So they can do things like, say, if it was a hairdresser, they could have a room at the back away from everybody. Blah blah blah.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Sure.
Which is still segregation and it's not right, blah blah blah. But the human rights said that they accept that. So
okay. Any other comments for you guys from Jane and then Shirley?
Yeah. Okay. I think I said everything I wanted.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh geez, I just wanted to say one more.
Yeah, please.
About the police. Somebody should keep track of where. I know you just said it off the top of your head, but we should keep a record of when police are used and when they're not used.
Should we be getting their badge numbers? Like,
yes,
I think so.
Yeah, because like we discussed, an action around the police being used for that.
In Elmer, there was an incident in Tim Hortons there where the police officer was telling the clerk at the desk to not serve somebody in Tim Hortons without a mask. And it got ugly. I think Stephen actually got the guy's badge number when we were there in Elmer, walked up to the vehicle, and Stephen just said, "I'm just looking in. I'm looking for your badge numbers." And got the badge number and gave it to the pastor to the Church of God fellas because they were being harassed, actually. So yes, get the badge number. And don't be afraid. Assert yourself. Excuse me, can I have your badge number? Yeah.
I'd like to just remind everybody that the OCLA has a great step-by-step little reminder of what to do in these situations, like the staying calm, the video, the taping, what to say, right up to the moment where the police arrives and you end up in jail. So hopefully we'll get to that. But I think it's really important that everybody stay calm and that it stay videotaped and you get all the names and all the badge numbers, everybody's name. Even if you think you're not going to need it, get it. You can't have too much information. And I would go look up that. Maybe that's something that you can, if you guys are putting out templates, maybe add that little step-by-step from the OCLA, because I keep it with me. I find it super helpful.
Okay, great.
I think that's a really good point. Stay calm and stay respectful. Don't name call. Don't get belligerent. I think that does more harm than good for everything that we're trying to achieve.
Yes, I agree 110%.
Mhm.
Paula, any other last minute points, comments, feedback?
Well, you know what? Just what we're doing here, like this just makes me so happy, my heart happy, because Vlad literally called me on my way back home from Toronto back to Ottawa. And we talked to him and he said, "Are you available?" I said, "Yes." And then you see the power of unity, because I was talking to Jane, telling Jane, and I realized Shirley should be involved. And then Jane realized Carly should be involved. And, you know, and that's the whole point, right? We're all
Yes.
collaborating.
Well, Carly was complaining about Costco
Yeah.
specifically. Yeah.
But that's what I
Like
mean.
her own
It was
issue.
all aligned, all
Yeah.
aligned.
Very synergetic, right? And that's what we all do, right? We share all the information.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Anything that Stand Up Canada has for you guys or anybody, we do gladly. And you can see it. Anything that you guys have and you share with us, like, we welcome it. And that's the
Awesome.
whole point. So thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to knock this out of the park.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And my last thought would be is, as I mentioned earlier, business is really an incredible opportunity to make a change. And as I often say, this is not about a political issue. This is really about the life issue. And this is definitely not about left or right. This is about right and wrong.
Yeah.
But businesses have a huge opportunity to establish themselves, either be on the side of humanity or on the side of tyranny. And there's no sitting on a fence.
Yeah.
It's very
And
straightforward.
as the minister, Henry, what's his last name? Hildeberg.
Yes.
He says,
Hildebrand.
God doesn't call you to be nice. He calls you to be good.
Yeah.
And you have to stand up for your rights and da la la la. He doesn't, he wants you to live, as you said.
Yes.
Like God wants you to live. So he wants you to stand up, fight back, speak out, and do it up. If it pisses them off, oh well.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to stand up
Yeah.
for our children and for the next
Yeah.
future generations. And
Exactly.
it's our responsibility. And as we know, in Canada, we actually have unique opportunity, because a lot of places in the world, they cannot even do this now.
Exactly.
So it's our responsibility to Canada and actually the rest of the world to be a beacon of hope and
Exactly.
light in this time of darkness. But the light is coming.
And there's even like little, threats about that, because in Quebec, they brought UN troops in for the protest, and then like one ticket. I don't know why only one ticket, but
just to write something about, right? Like they
yeah,
say,
it's a scare at least.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
intimidation, ignorance are the only tools of tyrannical government really left.
Yeah.
And censorship and propaganda, but we all can see
Yeah.
through that. So
Yeah.
again, I really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you so much. So this
Thank
video
you.
will be uploaded to YouTube, and I will share it. And I really appreciate everybody's feedback. And tomorrow we, yes, Jane.
Okay, I was just gonna say, Carly, should we set some time to do up the templates or start working on templates?
Yeah.
We have any time?
We'll figure it out.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
And
guys.
also, are we gonna do a next Zoom for coordinating with HugsOverMasks?
Yeah, we'll schedule something up for sure, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
We work hand in hand, and when they say we all in this together, we all in this together.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Fighting
So
for
what we
humanity and our
need is
rights.
somebody to field these templates once
Yeah.
they're created.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, perfect. Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to go to the next stage and
Yeah.
again stand up for our rights. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
We'll
good
stay
night.
healthy
Good
and
night.
have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.